Yo, what's poppin'? It's your boy Scubar with week 1 of the FDL, the Fun Draft League, an online competitive VGC Regulation E as in Napoleon Draft League. I've recently joined. I'm honored to be here, part of the crew and everything. This is looking to be a really fun league, hence the name. And there's a lot of really good players in here, so I'm excited to put my skills up against them. Much like the Beast Ball Draft League, we are the coach of the Jellicent champs. And our first week opponent is against Keegachu and the Down Under Drop Bears. Just going a little bit into our teams, I had the 5th pick of the draft out of 10 of us overall in this draft. There's 4 drafts with 10 people each, so 40 people. Keegachu had the 3rd draft, so I don't mind being smack dab in the middle. It's the same as was for the other league, and I feel like I came out pretty well with this as well. Yeah, again, this is Regulation E, so all VGC rules standard there. My team, the Jellicent Jams, consists in order of draft pick of Iron Hands, Farigiraf, Glastrier, Polion, Toadsucruel, Gardevoir, Moltres, Dragage, Banette, Cacturne, and Oinkologne, specifically the male version. And the Down Under Drop Bears have Roaring Moon, Mousehold, Mudsdale, Ninetales, Charizard, Magnezone, Espeon, Dusknoir, Prinplup, and Shiftry. So it's kind of funny. Keegachu sniped me twice, and he said I did snipe him once. On the 3rd round, he got the Mudsdale before I wanted the Mudsdale, so I ended up going with the Glastrier there. And then in the 9th round, I was looking for a 6-point Ghost, and I wanted Dusknoir, but again, he grabbed Dusknoir right before me, so I grabbed Banette, and the one I sniped from him is Empoleon, which is why he has Prinplup. So, enough with that. We're just going to hop right into the week 1 team here and everything. You can see the 6 I decided to go with on the screen. Iron Hands, Farigiraf, Glastrier, Empoleon, Toadsucruel, and Dragage. Across the 9 weeks, we have to bring all the Pokemon on our team at least once. And I think I have it planned out who I want to bring the Oinkologne against. So, back into the team here. Yeah, the scariest thing, one of the scariest things on his team, well, there's 3 scary things on Keegachu, the Down Under Drop Bears team. That is the Charizard Ninetales combination in the Sun. It's the Mudsdale and then the Mousehold as well. This Mousehold is just a great supportive mon, also Pop Bomb. Charizard in the Sun can hit my team really strong. And then, like I said, I wanted the power of Mudsdale with all that it can do in VGC draft, especially developing more of a trick room team. So those were some of my main threats I prepped for going into this week. First is my 20-point pick of the draft, my first point pick, Iron Hands. At my time in the draft, Fluttermane, Chien-Pao, Roaring Moon, and Ogerpon Grass were all taken. So with my experience and everything, I decided to go Iron Hands, Drain Punch, Wild Charge, Fake Out, and Ice Punch with the Booster Energy. I wanted to see how Booster Energy does this week over the Assault Vest, just for that immediate power, for that immediate damage, and to see if I really need the tankiness from the Assault Vest. Otherwise, it's a pretty standard moveset. Of course, to go right next to my Iron Hands, my love, my pride and joy, Eminem's Nightmare, the Farigiraf. For those who don't understand, Eminem, the rapper, has an immense fear of giraffes. Go give it a Google, go give it a YouTube. So there's an interview where he's just talking about giraffes and how he doesn't like them. So, and ever since this thing came out in competitive, I've gotten very good rankings in tourneys with Farigiraf. It was probably back in Regulation A. I made a tourney with 2nd place with Frostmoth but the Frostmoth was kind of just bait on the team. The real team was Hariyama, Farigiraf, King Gambit. And I just love this thing, absolutely. I think it's a top 6 Pokemon IMO for me. And yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Girafarig, but especially with the Armor Tail ability, Farigiraf is just awesome. So my pride and joy, Psychic, Dazzling Gleam, Nasty Plot, and Trick Room. Because between Fake Out and Armor Tail, it's very hard to not get Trick Room up if I don't want it. One of the only ways really is in Prison, or you have to one-hit KO it. Psychic and Dazzling Gleam are your pretty much basic standard coverage for the Roaring Moon, and then just hitting everything else on his team with Stab. And then my favorite is just Nasty Plot, because it quickly turns Farigiraf from not a threat into a very big threat. With the Mental Herb for any taunt shenanigans. Third pickup of the team, I wanted a very strong Trick Sweeper, something with high base stats. So, of course, since Mudsdale was gone, I went with Ice Mudsdale, the Glastrier, the Chilling May ability, Supreme Moxie. Life Orb, just for that, again, just same thing as Iron Hand, just immediate raw damage and everything. Icicle Crash, Close Combat, Heavy Slam, and Protect. Icicle Crash is really the only move I needed. I put Close Combat just to hit Mouse Hold super effectively and everything, as well as be able to hit, like, Ninetales, Magnezone. I could have gone High Horsepower, I forget why I chose exactly Close Combat over High Horsepower. And then Heavy Slam just to hit the Azumarill at least neutrally, because it resists the fighting and the ice type moves. This is in an interesting Empoleon set. So Empoleon with competitive and Citrus Berry. I'm not bringing it for competitive, but I'm bringing it for the Grass Knot, Haze, Knockoff, and Rain Dance. So I'll go reverse order. Rain Dance is because obviously they're bringing Ninetales in the sun, so it'd counteract that. Knockoff would be to specifically knock off the Mudsdale's Assault Vest and any other items I need to. Haze would be if the Mudsdale starts getting up too many stamina defense boosts, because as you can see, the 2 main hitters on this team are Iron Hands and Glastrier, the physical attackers. And then Grass Knot is just consistent damage versus not only the Mudsdale but the Azumarill. Like, even if Sun's up, I don't have to worry about 2-hit KOing it. And then, yeah, just even with Terra Grass does more damage. Totacruel with the Akaberry, Rage Powder Spore, Trick Room, Giga Drain. Nothing too crazy. I just wanted another Trick Room setter on this team with Giga Drain helps versus the Azumarill. Spore and Rage Powder are just always great tech moves. And then I went with Dragalge and the Shuka Berry to take ground type move to be able to then hit it with Hydro Pump, as the Mudsdale specifically, as well as just Draco Meteor, and Sludge Bomb for that adaptability, just strong hitting power, and Thunderbolt versus the Charizard. Yeah, just going over Terras, you can see 3 Terra Waters because I am really scared of the Ninetales and the Charizard kind of deal, so I want to be able to resist that. Terra Rock on the Farigiraf is the same mindset, but also to resist Pop Bomb as well, because I can handle the Roaring Moon, but I can't necessarily handle the Roaring Moon next to the Mouse Hole. And then the Terra Grass on the Empoleon again for that Grass Knot and for that Ground Resist, and the Ground Resist, and also the same with the Ground Resist on the Iron Hands. But then I realized, like, there was one time I wanted to tear my Iron Hands, but I would be making myself super effective to fire, so I didn't necessarily want to do that. Yeah, just really defensive Terras, nothing too offensive or crazy this week. The 6 I predicted him to bring are Roaring Moon, Mousehold, Mudsdale, Ninetales, Charizard, and Azumarill. So, yeah, we're going to hop right over into the battle now to see how it goes. Alright, so here we go into the battle. We got the team right here, the Jellicent Jams versus the Down Under Drop Bearers, Week 1. Good luck, have fun to my opponent. So he brings a team of Roaring Moon, Mousehold, Ninetales, Charizard, Mudsdale, and Dusk. So 5 of the 6 I got right, but you'll see in a little bit why it makes a lot of sense, the Dusknoir is here and everything. Because, like I said, one of the main ways to stop Trick Room, which my team is a pretty apparent Trick Room team, is Imprison Trick Room. Which, upon seeing the Duskmorn team draft, I immediately gave it a quick research, and I was like, yeah, this thing gets Imprison Trick Room. So knowing that, I didn't necessarily want to lead with M&M's Nightwear just right away to A, because A, at risk of losing it, and then B, leading with the Toadstool right away at least gives me other options with Spore and Rage Powder and everything. So I go Iron Hands, Toadstool, with then Ice Mudstale, the Glacier in the back again, because these are just some of my main offensive damage dealers. And then I do decide to bring Farigiraf in the back just as an opportunity to get up the Trick Room. You know, just having both Trick Room setters and everything. I wanted to see if I necessarily need the Mudstale counter and the Empoleon, and if I need just the resistances from Dragalge. So here we go. Good luck, have fun to my opponent. They lead Dusknoir and Charizard into my Iron Hands and Toadstools. I'm like, alright, not too bad of a lead, as long as the sun's not up now and they don't, without a Terra, the Aqua Berry's pretty feeling safe in the Toadstool. They see my booster energy as well as the Aqua Berry do the Frisk. So I know a Trick Room Imprisonment is coming. That's the whole reason he brought the Dusknoir. That's the whole reason he's doing it right now. So I thought about fake outing the Charizard, but I was like, you know what? Let's just go for the nuke right away because I don't want this thing being up in the sun. And predicting the Imprison Trick Room coming out, I go for the Spore into the Dusknoir to at least, you know, keep some momentum up. Charizard goes for the Protect, that's fine. Nothing, you know, he was expecting the fake out kind of deal, same thing. So the Wild Charge goes off into the Protect. And there's the Imprison from the Dusknoir to stop the Trick Room. So that's definitely some prep I'm going to have to do going forward, is to see which of their team members have Imprison Trick Room, because that's most likely a hint on who to be coming this week. Anyways, the Spore gets off, so Dusknoir's asleep, but I've now lost the speed control and everything. So I think there's no reason for me not just again to go for the Wild Charge right into the Charizard. And I'm debating what I want to do here with Toadstool. I don't necessarily want to switch him out yet to take a fire move with my Unterra Mudstale, nor my Farigiraf. Rage Powder really won't do anything because I'm expecting a Heat Wave to come out here. And I just double checked. I was like, it is Imprison Trick Room. You know, it doesn't hurt to double check. So yeah, you can see it is Imprison Trick Room. And it just didn't feel the need to do Giga Drain because it just wouldn't be that much damage. So I'm not proud of this play. I'm not proud of it. I'm sorry. But I Spore the Charizard because I'm like, I might as well just put it to sleep since this is a regular VGC and no sleep clause. They switch out the Dusknoir into the Ninetales, and we see a Terra here. So now the Solar Power is up for this Fire type boost and everything, and you see the Terra Fire. And I'm now shaking in my pants a little bit because Toadstool should live a Heat Wave with the Aqua Berry, but I didn't know how Iron Hands would take it without the Assault Vest. However, they go for the Flamethrower. So the Flamethrower being single target, yeah, the Aqua Berry didn't do much anything there. Between Solar Power, the Sun, Terra Fire. Terra Fire is smart because it also gets rid of his electric weakness with the Flying type, which as you can see matters right now because the booster energy Iron Hands does so much damage, but it doesn't pick up the KO without Solar Power. So Solar Power takes it out to 1-for-1, and unfortunately, yeah, Charizard does get the KO there for knocking out Charizard, though I gave it to Iron Hands. That's just how it works in this league. So yeah, so we're 1-for-1. He's got a sleeping Dusknoir in the back, and I debate who I want to send out here between Glastrier and Farigiraf. I think I send out M&M's Nightmare here because I'm not ready I'm not ready for the Glastrier to come out yet. I want Glastrier a little bit more as a cleanup. So yeah, out comes the Dusknoir now, and out comes the Farigiraf. So I'm like, alright, here's my standard comfortable lead between these two. I'm not really too scared of what this Ninetales can do, so just, yeah, Iron Hands just want to just hit Iron Hands. Your job is just to be outputting damage and everything. So I was just saying, no, I think I go for the Drain Punch into the Ninetales to see, because this Dusknoir is not really a threat yet. And then yeah, I realized that Dusknoir, since it switched out on its first turn, it has to take a turn to sleep this turn. So I'm free to get off the Trick Room. That is an unfortunate miss from my opponent there on the Heat Wave. But yeah, Iron Hands takes that like a champ. I'm able to get the Drain Punch off. Again, just like the Wild Charge. The Booster Energy 252 Adamant almost does enough damage to one-hit KO it. But I get the Trick Room off. Oh, nice. And here, I should have recognized that Dusknoir, now that it took his turn to sleep, it has the chance to wake up. And this being his Trick Room counter, I should have prioritized this a lot more as a threat with my Iron Hands. But I decided to just, go for the Nasty Plot on Burgerap, and just don't want to knock out the Ninetales to see what his last one is. But they go for the Protect on Ninetales, which is very good. And he gets the one-turn Wake Up. Oh, sorry, spoilers for season. I get the Nasty Plot off with Burgerap, just to make this thing a threat. And they get the one-turn Wake Up to reverse the Trick Room. So I'm like, well, now this is interesting. Because obviously he's going to imprison here, so I can't get my Trick Room up again. And now I recognize how much of a threat this thing is. Yeah, so I just go for the Dazzling Gleam to knock out both. A little bit of which is arguably what I should have done last time. I should have Dazzling Gleam, because even though it's resisted, I think it would have picked up that how little Ninetales has. Ninetales goes for the Encore, trying to lock me into Nasty Plot, but this is again Mental Herb. This is such a great item on the Burgerap. It ends the Encore, and I'm able to do a sizable chunk to the Dusknoir, pick up the KO onto the Ninetales. And I get the Wild Charge off onto the Dusknoir. It's just so close to picking up these KOs and everything. And that's where it reveals the Pinch Berry. I forget which Pinch Berry. The Agua Berry. Yes, it's the green one. And he actually doesn't go for the Imprison, but he reveals Will-O-Wisp. An unfortunate miss onto Iron Hands. And it's just good to know speed tiers that both Iron Hands and Burgerap outspeed. So out comes the Lauren Moon as the last one. No Mousehold and no Mudsdale, which is just really good information to know. He's already Terra. Yeah, I was gonna say. So no, I should. Yeah, I want to say. So yeah, I don't need to worry really too much about this Roaring Moon, especially because I've already consumed my item. So a knockoff will not kill me, and Dazzling Gleam should pick up the KO. As I just go for the KO onto the Dusknoir here too with the Iron Hands. The Roaring Moon protects. Just so close to picking the KOs and everything. And stuff, yeah. So then Iron Hands takes out Dusknoir with the Ice Punch. And with the Sunlight fading, this is actually where they reveal the Booster Energy. And especially since I have Glastrier in the back, and they've already Terra it, I'm feeling good about this first turn here. So I Drain Punch, +2 Dazzling Gleam, single target on a Roaring Moon should absolutely be enough to pick up the one-hit KO. Then yet again, everything's almost missed one-hit KOs this first match here. So Keegachu actually ends up forfeiting. We just agreed to give the KO to Burgerap since that's what would have outsped first. And yeah, I really doubt it would have lived a +2 single target. 4 times effective Dazzling Gleam. Especially because I don't think I'm max special defense, but I am pretty specially defensive with this Burgerap. So I'm like, alright, yeah, game 1 down. The job's not done yet and everything. Still gotta win another game here. So I'm just thinking about if I want to adapt. Oh, actually, never mind. I am 250. This Burgerap, I am 252 modest special attack, 252 defense, 4 HP. So yeah, so that Roaring Moon is not a living. So yeah, we just agreed to give the KO to Burgerap there. And I'm thinking about how I want to change, if I want to change anything up. He didn't bring the Mudsdale, so I don't necessarily think I need the Empoleon. And I could bring the Dragalge for the Sun, since I know that's his main mode of damage he's going with. But I felt I just handled it fine with these guys and everything. So I'm thinking, yeah, you can see I'm considering if I want to go with Empoleon here. But yeah, no. So I'm going to take this time to say, if anyone's watching here at this point in the video and you know a graphic design artist or graphic artist who can make team logos, I am in searching to commission a Jellicent Jams team logo. So feel free to give me a message on Discord, leave a comment on the video here, who your graphic designer is for your team logo, and absolutely yes, I will be paying them for this. It is a commission. So. Anyways, back to the battle here. I want to go with Toes again to at least be able to score the Dusknoir. But I change it up a little bit. I didn't reveal the Glastrier last time, so I want to go with Glastrier now. And then because I recognize how much work Iron Hands put in, so I want Iron Hands on the cleanup duty this time. So, here we go into Game 2 of Jellicent Jams with the down under drop airs. And this time he's just not messing around. He leads right off with Charizard Ninetales versus my Glastrier Toedscool. First of all, I love those two shinies. These are gotta be some of the two best shinies in the game, on the Ninetales and the Charizard. But yeah, I'm pretty scared of just Terra Fire, Charizard, Solar Power, double Heat Wave coming out from both of them right now. So I have to Terra one. And I recognize Ice Mudsdale is the more valuable of my two here. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to reveal the Terra Water here. And this is what I'm debating. I'm debating, like, do I call the Charizard to Terra and go for the close combat? Or do they not Terra and go for Ice Crash? But I end up calling the, I say they're going to Terra, so I go for the close combat. Just because that's what they did last time. Which is what they do. They do Terra Fire into the Charizard, so that is going to be doing a lot of damage. And now I don't actually know if I'm pretty sure I live a Heat Wave with the Akaberry on Toedscool from Charizard. But I definitely don't live two of them from the Ninetales and everything. So I reveal the Terra on my Glastrier Tail of Water. But they go for the Helping Hand onto the Charizard. And I'm like, now I definitely don't take that Heat Wave. Even with the Aqua, because it's a Terra Fire, Solar Power in the Sun, Charizard, Helping Hand. You can still see that does over half to my resisted Glastrier. So, yeah, that's a lot of damage. And I get the close combat off though. And my defenses are down, and I'm worried that's actually not enough to pick it up with the Solar Power, but just like last game, the Solar Power is enough to pick it up, so that's both games Charizard has now killed itself with the Solar Power, so that's unfortunate stat-wise. I reveal the Life Orb there, and I'm feeling a lot better now that, again, that Charizard is down, because that's just such a huge threat, damage threat. And I'm like, alright, let's try it again. Let's send out the Farigiraf to try and get this Trick Room up, because you can see that, yeah, just Toedscool, Akaberry was just absolutely useless. Both times, Fire Blast just one-hit KO, even with the Akaberry, so I need to account for that in the future. And they bring out the Roaring Move, which is a little scary, because a knockoff just right into the Farigiraf will absolutely knock it out, since it still does have its item. Seeing as this is much more of a supportive Ninetales with Encore, Heat Wave, Protect, and Helping Hand, I'm not too scared of it, especially with my Glastrier. Because even if he Encores me into close combat, it's super effective versus the Roaring Moon. So I just go for the Icicle Crash to at least get the stab onto the Roaring Moon, because if he's going to knock out my Farigiraf here, I at least want to trade first with my Glastrier. So that's what I do here. I go for the Icicle Crash, and I try to get this Trick Room up again, but I could have switched out into Iron Hands, I guess, predicting the knockoff, but because the booster energy would have been consumed, which would not have done a lot of damage. They actually switch out the Ninetales into the Mousehole, so they didn't bring the Dusknoir this time. And you see, yeah, I could have predicted the knockoff to switch out into Iron Hands, actually get the booster energy, but you know, hindsight 2020. Knocked off the Mental Herb, that's a winning KO. I go for the Icicle Crash, and that does pick up the return of 1K KO. Glacier. I'm proud I got Glacier because there's also 2 snow teams in my division. Someone got the Obama Snow and the Ninetales Alola. 2 different people, excuse me. So we get the Chilling Neigh boost off, which is just, it's always a little threatening, always a little intimidating. So yeah, so now it's a 2v2. Out comes his Ninetales and Mousehole versus my Glastrier, +1 Glastrier, -1 on each defenses due to close combat, and my booster energy Iron Hands. So I'm feeling pretty confident about this, but it's not completely wrapped up yet. I definitely am scared of a Pop Bomb here. Like, I'm scared of a Pop Bomb from this Mousehole being the Wide Lens Technician. But I think I just decide, like, a Drain Punch should be a 1-hit KO. They already tear it, so they can't tear on this. Just like Chop and Berry, max defense. But like I said, I know there's no Will-O-Wisp on the Ninetales, so the only way they get a burn on me is if a Heat Wave burn. The sun is still up, so that's a little bit of threatening damage, but yeah. They actually go for the Protect onto the Ninetales, which is mine, and a Super Fang onto the Mudsdale, which actually tells me it is not a Pop Bomb, but rather a Friend Guard Follow Me support set, which is also just one of the great things Mousedale is for. So, Drain Punch, 1-hit KOs the Mousehole, and the Ninetales blocked from the close combat. But anyways, it's looking pretty wrapped up here. I don't see how this Ninetales can take out my Terra Water, Glastrier, and my Iron Hands. And I mean, but just the cherry on top. This is just bad RNG from Pokemon. The Heat Wave double misses. So with a Drain Punch and a close combat, that is enough to take out the Ninetales, giving the Jellicent Jams their first win of the FDL Week 1. We are 1-0 in the league. GG's to the Down Under Drop Bears. You have a very scary team, especially with that Ninetales Charizard, Mousehole, and Burning Moon. But yeah, I just you played well with around the Trick Room with the Dusknoir Prison and just the nukes onto my setters. But yeah, next week we go up against Coach Jordan and the Paraflinch Paladin, or not the Paraflinch Paladin, excuse me, the Miami Paladins, with a team of Rillaboom, Ogerpon Hearthflame, Milotic, Wordier, Galarian Moltres, Sneasler, Greedent, Klefki, Macargo, Wigglytuff, and Fennekin. Yeah, so again, that's a pretty scary looking team between Rillaboom, Ogerpon, Galarian Moltres, Rillaboom, Sneasler, Klefki, Wordier for the Intimidate, and then they do have 3 Trick Room Imprisons between Wordier, Klefki, and even the Fennekin. I believe they lost their first match last week, so I'm definitely gonna review Scout for that, see how it goes out. But yeah, catch you next week for week 2. Looking for a team logo designer, so anyone hit me up if you'd like to make a little cash. And yeah, Coach Scubar with the Jellicent Jams, over and out.